Hey viewers, you're watching The Savera and I'm Vidhi Joshi. In a dramatic shift that's resonating through the scientific and aerospace communities, NASA is preparing to lose nearly 3,870 employees, roughly 20% of its civil servant workforce, through a voluntary resignation initiative called the Deferred Resignation Program. This move is a part of President Donald Trump's broader strategy to downsize the federal government and restructure long-standing institutions. While still subject to change as applications are finalized or withdrawn, the projected departure count has raised urgent concerns about NASA's future readiness and capability. Following both resignation waves and normal attrition estimated at around 500 employees, NASA anticipates its remaining civil workforce will shrink to approximately 14,000. This marks the second major staff reduction under Donald Trump's administration. The first round came shortly after he returned to office and resulted in 870 departures, about 4.8% of NASA's workforce at the time. That initial buyout effort was a part of a broader campaign led by the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency, now headed by tech entrepreneur Elon Musk. The second round, which began in June and closed to new applications on July 25, saw an additional 3,000 personnel, that is 16.4% of the workforce, choose to leave. NASA leadership has emphasized that these departures are voluntary and part of a strategic effort to avoid forced layoffs while complying with the administration's directive to streamline federal agencies. Former acting NASA Administrator Janet Petro explained during a June 25 town hall that the main goal was to reduce headcount without resorting to involuntary cuts. She also noted that NASA had previously requested a blanket waiver to protect probationary employees from layoffs, an effort that ultimately fell short as departures mounted. But the implications of this marks exodus are already setting off alarm bells. Within NASA and beyond, scientists, engineers and policy experts are warning that the agency is on the verge of losing invaluable institutional knowledge. In a passionate letter titled The Voyager Declaration, hundreds of current and former employees urged Interim Administrator Sean Duffy, who also serves as Transportation Secretary, to reconsider the agency's direction. They argued that the departure of thousands of highly trained and specialized professionals could cripple NASA's ability to carry out its complex mission, especially those involving long-term human exploration of the Moon and Mars. The letter stressed that the departing staff are not easily replaceable. Many bring decades of experience in mission, critical systems and safety protocols, the loss of which could endanger both current operations and future ambitions. Despite NASA's repeated reassurances that safety remains a top priority, skepticism remains widespread. For critics, the cuts appear to value short-term efficiency over long-term capability. Public reaction has mirrored the growing unrest inside the agency. On July 20, the anniversary of the first moon landing, about 100 protesters, including NASA employees and contractors, gathered outside the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. The demonstration, organized by a grassroots group called NASA Needs Help, demanded congressional action to halt the cuts. One contract worker summed up the crowd's sentiment by declaring, "We are here because NASA is under attack, and we are its defense." The issue has now reached Capitol Hill. On July 16, the House Committee on Science, Space and Technology accused NASA leadership of overstepping its authority by implementing personnel reductions before a final budget was approved. In a letter to Sean Duffy, the committee warned that the executive branch was making unilateral decisions that could hollow out one of America's most revered institutions. "We take no pleasure in writing this letter," the committee stated, "but we are disturbed by the agency's recent actions, which claim authority that the executive branch does not possess." Looking ahead, the outlook remains troubling. The White House proposed 2026 budget includes a 25% funding cut to NASA and the elimination of around 5,000 more jobs. If passed, this would represent one of the leanest budgets in NASA's history, on par with its operation during the 1960s. In preparation, the agency has already announced plans to close at least 3 departments. While NASA maintains that it remains committed to a golden era of exploration, questions continue to mount. Can a downsized agency still lead humanity back to the moon and onto Mars? Or has the relentless pursuit of government efficiency put the very mission of NASA at risk? That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.